Happy holidays, everyone! Let's make these delicious cacao holiday themed cookies. These are super incredible, soft, gooey, vegan. The dough is not only cacao flavored but also peppermint flavored, dipped in white chocolate and then topped with crumbled peppermint. It's seriously the perfect combo if you enjoy mint flavored cookies. And super easy, let's get into it. This recipe will be in grams and all of the ingredients are listed on the screen. In one bowl, gather all of your dry ingredients, starting off with flour, 237 grams of all-purpose flour. Add in 98 grams of cacao powder. You can also use cocoa powder if you choose. Here I use a rich cacao powder. Add 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and then using your whisk, make sure to whisk this all up. Because I did use salted butter this time, I did not add in a dash of salt. But if you happen to use unsalted butter, then you can add a dash of salt to your dry ingredients and whisk it all up. As always, make sure to whisk up all of your dry ingredients to make sure that everything is fully incorporated, especially that baking soda. As I mentioned, this recipe can easily be vegan. All you need is vegan butter. However, this is the kind that I'm using this time because that's what I had in my fridge. And then for the applesauce, I'm using this like generic brand of unsweetened applesauce. You want to make sure that your butter is softened at room temperature. You should be able to put your finger on it like I'm doing here and it will feel soft. The next step will be gathering our wet ingredients in a separate bowl. You need 226 grams of unsalted butter softened at room temperature. As you can see, I'm using my little reliable kitchen scale here. It works very well. Add in 250 grams of granulated sugar. Add in 160 grams of light brown sugar. Make sure that it is packed and make sure that the light brown sugar is fresh. That is when it is at its best, of course. You will not need an electric mixer for this recipe, although you can use one if you choose to. I am just using my spatula here to mix the butter and the sugars together. So mix, and then you will add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Next, we will add our 3 tablespoons of the unsweetened applesauce. Please note that you can also use eggs if you choose to, but again, I chose to make this vegan if you use vegan butter. Since we are not using our kitchen scale to weigh out the applesauce, just make sure that you measure it properly as you see me doing here on the screen. 3 full tablespoons. The next step is that we're going to add peppermint extract. This is the brand that I'm using, although if you find another one, it may work as well. Add in 1 teaspoon of peppermint extract. This is what's going to make the cookies have that beautiful, gentle peppermint flavor. Using your spatula, once again, mix this all up. Mix until everything is obviously mixed together. As you can see me doing here on the screen, you don't want to overdo it. It's just until everything is fully incorporated. Like I said, you don't need an electric mixer. A spatula will do the job just fine. And look at this beautiful consistency. This is just perfect. Did not overdo it. It is just perfect. Now you will add your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients. Adding the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients as opposed to the other way around ensures that you are using every bit of ingredients, and so therefore the measurements will all add up. Using your spatula, you want to mix this all very well until you no longer see any flour, and it is obviously going to give you that cookie dough consistency. Keep mixing, but don't overdo it. Your consistency should look something like this. This cookie dough is just absolutely perfect. If you put your fingers together on the cookie dough, it should not stick to your fingers. You should be able to form a cookie dough ball, and that's how you know it's just perfect. There is no need to refrigerate this dough before baking. So the next step is you want to grab your baking tray and place a parchment paper over it. Scoop out your cookie dough ball. Oh, and before this, make sure that your oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you want to test out your cookie dough by baking one cookie the very first time, just to test out how many minutes you should be baking your cookies at, depending on your oven. It should be around 8 to 9 or 10 minutes. I believe mine baked perfectly at 8 minutes. We are going to dip half of the cookie in white chocolate. As you can see, you can choose whether you want that white chocolate that has dairy or dairy-free, aka vegan chocolate. Either one will work. You want to melt the chocolate. You can either do this by placing it in the microwave or placing a double boiler on your stove, which is what I chose to do. So here you have the choice of freezing your cookies before dipping them in the white chocolate, or you can just go ahead and dip them once they are cooled down. I chose to freeze them because that's what worked with my schedule and also would just work out better for me. So here we have our crushed peppermint. You can either buy this crushed already, which is what I did. I bought it bulk, a small amount though, in Sprouts. You can find this really anywhere. You can find it already pre-bagged, or you can buy those candy canes and crush it yourself. Once your chocolate is melted, you want to place it in like a little bowl or a cup, something that is easy to dip your cookies into. And again, this is optional, but I think that it gives it such a great flavor and a beautiful aesthetic, and just makes the cookies so much more delicious. So this is very simple. You're just dipping the cookie real quick and then dipping it right out, and then sprinkling some crushed peppermint on top, and then allowing the cookie to cool down so that the chocolate solidifies. Like I mentioned, I chose to freeze my cookies because the chocolate just came off of the stove. It is a little warm, and if I were to do the cookies cooled down and soft and then dip them, they could break easily in the warm chocolate. So it works easier if you freeze the cookie, the cookie is harder, and then you dip it in the warm chocolate. This recipe does make quite a few cookies, which I thought was amazing. It's such an easy recipe. It makes for a great gift, holiday homemade gift for a loved one, or for yourself, or for like a holiday party or Christmas gathering, whatever you choose. Look at these cookies. They're absolutely perfect. They are so beautiful, but not only aesthetically pleasing, they are absolutely delicious. Like, honestly, these are up there on my favorite cookies because I do personally enjoy mint flavored things, and I absolutely love cacao. I love baking with the cacao. I love cacao cookies. So yeah, take a look at these. Give this recipe a try. I promise that you will not regret it. They're absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for being here, for being part of my YouTube community. Please drop a comment below if you gave this recipe a try. By the way, these cookies freeze so well. You can freeze them for up to like 5 months, 5 or 6 months, but however long you'd like. And then before enjoying, just pop them in the microwave and warm them up for a few seconds to enjoy, or simply leave the cookies out to naturally defrost. Please enjoy this recipe and make sure to subscribe for more delicious baking recipes. Happy holidays!